Alright, hello everybody. Welcome. This is something I've been meaning to do for some time now, throughout the week, but a couple different releases had pushed back uh, my time. So we're going to get in some more Eldraine drafting today. Yeah. The plan was to do this on Thursday, but then the Dark Prince Dragon Quest demo came out. So instead we're doing it now. Ugh. I've gotten to do a little bit more of this draft. I did like one more of these off camera and have watched a couple others. Yes, that was Tuesday. Tuesday was I was going to do this, and then I ended up joining Gnome on a stream. Then Thursday was Dark Prince demo. So now it's Saturday. We're doing this. But yeah, one of these buttons fits where I want. But yeah, there's been a little bit, like, we're a couple weeks in on the limited format, so things have kind of shaken out as to our, big winners sort of thing. Oh, Copper Popper, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. Um, like in every format, there's always, like, okay, here's the colors that are kind of the deepest, that are easiest to get into. Here's the colors that are a little rougher. You need some big reason to jump into, or maybe combinations that don't work as strongly. If you remember how good like Gruul oil counters were, or how good Orzhov like poison was in March of the Machines, Obi-Wan, etc. Things like that. The biggest thing here is that the Azorius is sort of the biggest loser on its honor rate. Everything else kind of works out well. It's just that blue and white aren't as deep as the other two colors, and the tapping theme is very expensive. You kind of need like things that tap and things that like things being tapped, and then that gives you a small subset of the ramp problem where you need to draw both halves of your deck. On top of which, some of that can just be mitigated by your opponent either not having creatures for you to hit or attacking. But anyway, we'll see what sort of polls we do see. For instance, even in Azorius, the Azorius queen that's like the witch, the multicolored legend that's like whenever a creature's tap, draw a card, come and play, tap a creature, is still a wildly strong singular card. Alright. But as always, I like to follow wherever our cards lead us to. Okay. Gumdrop Poisoner. That's wildly strong, singular. Comes into play, target creature gets -X/-X, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. You get a food from this, sack the food for 3, and then you get to make -3/-3 with the Poisoner. That alone is a nice, just singular card to have. It lets us want to have like a food payoff. We see a couple cards in black right here that would go well with it. The food color is black-green, but this doesn't force us into that combination immediately. Farsight and Ritual is like a... it's fine draw. Feed the Cauldron would keep on a food idea by giving us removal food in the color we're already in. Serious Reaver, thanks for the sub as well. The Witch Stalker here is more on the Gruul. It's got the mechanic for Gruul, which is 4 power. Candy Trail would also stick on here. Edgewall Inn is like a mana fixer that also picks up adventures. This would not be a bad choice in the sense that we already have a powerful adventure card. I kind of want to cut off my color, though, because this card does want me to be in black, and I kind of want to make sure that that's available to me. So let's do that. Okay. Spellscorn Coven. Return target spell to his hand. Opponent discards a card. That is a fine flyer. This is the Merfolk. It wasn't one of the witches. This is one of the tapping cards I was talking about that I think is actually still quite strong no matter what. Because you can play Shure and then get a tap and then draw a card and then all of your stuff turns on. 2 colors we're not in, so it's not immediately a pick for me. Sweet Tooth Witch keeps our witch food likers going. If we have this many food likers, I kind of want to find some green cards that like that. Spellscorn Coven is also just a fine card. It's a flyer with a disruptive element at a discard piece. I kind of like that. We don't need to be in blue to play this. It's just a fine evasive creature. Again, we're seeing black. Okay, Hatching Plans. Hatching Plans here is a really strong bargain card. Stingblade Assassin, Whisper... Agatha's Champion. This is really strong if you have the bargain and, like, okay if you don't. If we have a lot of food generation, this is probably good. And again, green is kind of where I want to go with this. I think the other card near would be, like, the Whisper. Or we go... We don't have anything that immediately is bargain. This is our bargain we'd be picking. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the champion, see if we can't get the food set up going that I like. Here's an, okay, and here's a food liker for us. Hi, Spreading Seas, how you doing? We also have a choice of a Ginger Brute to be food. But Knight of Sweet's Revenge with, like, food generate, bargain liker. This is a card I think I want 1 copy of exactly and no more. It's very, like, expensive, but I guess I've never seen this work yet, and it seems very expensive. So I want to see how functional it is. I'm not willing to pick up the second Knight of Sweet's Revenge right here. I think that's a little bit overkill. We can pick up the Fell Horseman. Because, like, this doesn't stack. A second copy of Knight of Sweet's Revenge doesn't do anything. Room Search is a draw. Scarecrow Guide. Fell Horseman is, like, fine. Having some recursion in the deck is okay. I'm worried about this high of a curve at the moment, but there's nothing to fix that with other than a... Scarecrow. Yeah, Stroke of Midnight is a very good card. Okay, here's a card that we can fit early on the curve, a Barrow Naughty. We know that... Well, this is actually good blue here, too. Mocking Sprite is a good card. Snaremaster Sprite is one of the cards that's more indicative of the like, issues the tapping deck has, in that this is still a 1/1 when you kick it, basically. Fine. I'm going to cut our color off and try to keep it clean here. We want some more things to play. Oh, boy. Intruder alarm. That's very funny. None of these are interesting at all to me. Stalking Celebrant is probably the best card in the pack. Spell Strutter is also fine if I pick up. Intruder Alarm is cool, but we're not comboing with it. I'll take the Visitor again. I wanna cement my color. Wow. All right. I can't believe we're being told this hard that our color combination is off. We tried to cut this as much as we could, and we were just told no. All right. So this is very clear to me that we need to find something new. I'll grab Cooped Up here just as the strongest card in the pack. We're going to need to abandon ship. Which, that sucks. We're gonna have to keep this in mind for pack 2, because it's, yeah, we can see here that, like, this is just not working. So I guess we pick up the Spell Strutter, move into that, maybe cut the green. Yeah, that's looking more and more like it. What is this one? Sorcery, bounce a 3, Whisper, Night Sting. I'll take 1 copy of Whisper. Into the Fey Court. Hi, Spreading Seas, how you doing? Okay. Looks like blue is the direction it wants for us. We'll see how that pays off. Interesting. Ashiok, you've got... So, Ashiok's first line is effectively null because, like, we're playing we don't have ways to, like, build around that. Plus, draw off the top 2. Sneak attack's also very funny. Candy Grapple, Threadbind Click, both fine. Very awkward. I'm not terribly impressed by the power level.
A world that appreciates my talents.
Anyway, I'm not terribly, like, I'm not first picking a Ginger Brood, unless you bet that on the wheel, in which case that's more realistic. But for Ashiok being the only Planeswalker in the set, Ashiok, they haven't really impressed me. Like, you need to be able to have some sort of combination. Like, you have a very expensive Planeswalker that just kind of make some awful tokens, or like, draw a card, which is fine. You can get pretty close to that, alt very quickly. But again, you're kind of building towards it, so... Whisper, Nature's Will... Ice Rot Sentry... Mocking Sprite. So Ice Rot Sentry is one of the more powerful, like, tapping creatures, especially with that Vigilance. I think I'm fine with Ice Rot Sentry. The body's quite good. What would be the payoff in their ultimate? Decking out the opponent. You just exile all their cards, because it exiles cards equal to the total mana value of cards you have in exile, so just exile their deck. Neva... Oh, that's funny. We just had, Nature's Will next to this, which, yeah, as you mentioned. Probably fine with one of the witches here. I really want to get this curve down, is one of my worries. I like Conceited Witch as a card. Diminisher Witch is also, like, fine. Rexian Unlife is very funny. Baronati again, another spell stutter. Apple? Apple's a food. We don't have, like, you'll find picking the apple, because Spellstrutter or the Sprite or Baronati will all come back around, or even Stopgap. Stopgap's fine, too. I want to play with this card. Dark Tutelage, Feed the Cauldron... Recruiter. You're not in the colors to be able to take advantage of that. I can take another feed. Take Sweet Tooth Witch. Yeah, the apple is a weird threaten. Sleight of hand. I love the art on Sleight of Hand. It's got this fun goose on it. Another apple. I think this card's legendary, so I'm not like super, yeah. Top and bottom of deck. Another witch. That's really it. How many copies of Apple is 2 minutes? This is not really exciting as far as like cards go. This is too many apples. Ego Drain? Oh boy. Can I Thoughtseize people? Not really. I've got like 2 Fae. Oh, that's a bit tragic. Let's see if we can't fix that up. Okay, I do like having one of these Mocking Sprites. These are good. These are like, you know, good enough flyers. Threadbind Click. Threadbind Click is good, and if we can, we might want to have the Sneak Attack's got great art. If we can have the splash for this, that'd be okay. Here we're seeing a bunch of our cards coming back around. We can pick up more Mocking Sprites. Yeah, I'm completely fine playing it because, like, 3/3 flyer for 4 is always gonna get... That 3/3 is not on rate. Like, 3/3 for 4 hasn't been on rate and limited for decades. But flying has been. Tangled Colony can't block. And Tangled Colony dies, create X rats where X is the amount of damage dealt to it this turn. Yes, please. Rats. The Prankster, the Monstrosity, these are all like cards on 2 that I you know, push the curve. This is a, like... So, like, minimum you're getting 2 rats out of this on death. And it's a 3-power attacker, so I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, like, on its face, like, unless they have some sort of trick to fix it. But if they have to trade up, like, trade a 3/3 with it, you get more rats. We'll go with that. Heuristic Study, huh? That better than just, like, Candy Grapple? Not really sure on that. Damn. Hair's good, too. Not for us. Candy Grapple... I think I'd take Grapple. I don't know. I'm not, like... So my problem with Heuristic Study in Limited is that in order for this card to be Divination, it needs to trigger twice against one opponent. One of the reasons that Heuristic Study is a mythic is because it's played in a multiplayer format. And in the multiplayer format, you have a lot of other players that are going to trigger it. That makes it a lot more of a powerful card. This is a nice thing, I think. This is there was a card in Lorwyn called Dream Spoiler Witches, which was just this card but worded differently. So that and now we're seeing like the green food stuff coming around with Sweet Tooth. This card's very good, by the way, even like without any help. Well, like Dream Spoiler is nice. Screen Puff's big. Conceited Witch. Another one of these sentries is probably fine. I like this a lot more than I like Coral Smith. But yeah, Heuristic Study in a 1-on-1 is like comparable in my mind, a little bit closer to a divination than it is anything else. This is like deals with a large creature. Not super happy to have it, but like I will take it. We already have a stopgap. Candy Trail wouldn't be bad either. Galvanic Giant. Also don't hate a Nightmare. Kind of like this, just to have something going on so we can build up. We don't have a ton of bargain, but we do have some. And, like, I like Hopeless Nightmare as a way to, like, have a bargain. Oh, hey, here we go. We saw this in pack 1, and we weren't in the second color. But now, Obira is a lot stronger for us. 2/2 flyer for 2, and has a life loss on it, which we have a number of creatures now will trigger. We can probably take a Stingblade Assassin. We don't have one of these. We have 2 of the Mocking Sprite. Compulsion was a card that did a lot of good in a format where, like, Threshold and Madness existed. Was quite strong in that way. I think I'm taking Minstrosity so that I have a 2. My curve is still a little high, and this will fix it up. You could take a second copy of the Assassin or even a Candy Trail, but like this is a... We do have a bit of an aggressive stint to us. I think I'm gonna grab the Grim Search. We don't have any card draw like that, and that's something that like 1x of could fit well in the deck. Sleight of Hand, I think it's filler, but it's like improving our draws level filler. It's fine. Okay. So I think we correctly identified the need to switch between the colors we saw. I was really happy with that Knight of Sweet's Revenge and trying to have some sort of deck built around the food. But the trick is that that black card we first picked can just work on its own. Like, it's going to be fine just, like, casting it as its own card. So I'm happy with that. And we also had a choice at white, but that didn't really work out. Let's go with the Spell Strutter. We'll go with... I don't think we're going to be playing the white mana in here. Mocking Sprites, Fey Court, 1 Sentry, Disdainful, Nightmare, Body, Tangled Colony, Conceited Witch, Feed the Cauldrons, Poisoner, 1 Whispers, Fell Horseman, Ashiok, and the Dream. Then, like, Candy Trail Apple. I don't know how well Dream Spoiler works in this deck. It is 5 instants and, like, 2 creatures with flash, so I'm not super into this. Yeah, because we've got Obira, and then, like, I think we have 1 other creature with flash in here. Oh, I might be wrong. I don't feel one. We actually have Into the Fey Court, which I think means we don't need Grim Search. 42, so we need to fix up 2 more removes on this. And we don't, we just don't have any fixing. Ice Rod Sentry is a card that gets better in multiples. This actually might be more interesting. Yeah, like, Stingblade Assassin is a flash creature, but the problem is this card isn't very good. In the abstract, I don't like the I've never been a huge fan of the like kill a creature that's been dealt damage as like a removal option because it's really unwieldy and inconsistent. You have to like make bad moves in order for your opponent to fall for it, and then you're asking them to fall for it. As a 3-power flyer, that's a more reasonable reason to play it, but I don't feel like we're super needed on that. Let me go back to this. How are we doing? 14 creatures, so we probably want to remove, like, a little bit of the creature stuff. And, okay, are we able to play Ego Drain and not feel bad about it? Berry count is 6. I don't know that we can include a Thoughtseize that only works if we control 6 of our creatures in the deck. I'm sad, but I don't think we can include it. Spellscore and Coven is fine. Apple, I'm not sure about Apple. Whisper, I'm fine having 1 copy of. Stroke and honestly, the reason I'm not happy with that is we have 6 Fae, and the only ones I actually want to count are like Obira and Barrow Naughty, and maybe the Mocking Sprites if I'm really stretching the definition. I don't want our 1-mana Thoughtseize to need a 4-drop plus in order for it to function. Especially because if we wanted to do discard at 4, we have Spellscorn Coven, we have Eric's Whisper, we have much better ways of doing discard once we've hit that point on the curve. If we actually had 1 and 2 drops, then this could come down on 3 with another 2. I keep the Horseman. I want 1 piece of Recursion in the deck. It's like a fine card. I think you're right. I really want to fit the Apple in here, but it's such a, like, we're not a deck that's using a threaten. Like, we're evasion, right? Like, this is a bunch of cards with evasion on them and like tapping and things like that. So this just isn't it. And we're even like not needing that to like close a game out because we have a couple other ways of like closing a game out. We have our ones that are like still thinking about the Disdainful Stroke or something like that, but I think we'll just go with as is. Ashiok I'm playing as so our deck doesn't have any Haymaker level like 5/6 drops, but what it does have at 5 is like ways of card drawing. Into the Fey Court is a card draw that comes with a crappy 1/1. And Ashiok is effectively just going to be either plussing or minusing for chump blockers, usually plussing. I'm not really caring about like trying to build around it. It's just that Ashiok is going to be a way for us to try to keep advantage going. You're right in that Ashiok might be bad enough to consider cutting here. If I had maybe a more powerful, like a couple more powerful creatures, I'd probably be there with you. But I think they are enough over the line. Nah, the Platonic Planeswalker is plus draw minus kill. That's, this is, Ashiok's quite far away, from that ideal. And also, like, on, again, just on, like, cost here, where we're really not looking at very efficient bodies. You know, for 2 1/1s, that's like, you can get better creatures on a plus on like a 4 or a 5. You know? I think there's like a Vivian who pluses for a 3/3. Again, the creatures are supposed to be that they grow, but that involves synergy and deck building, and the only synergy we have with that is adventures that exile themselves, like Transmuter. The last consideration would be, do I try including the hero planes for Threadbind Click? I'm not even comparing this to a Noko or a Mind Sculptor. I'm comparing it to, like, one of the least played Planeswalkers I can think of, which is the Vivian Reed from, like, Ikoria? I think the card is made for a very specific style of deck, which means in Limited it's not a terribly, like, it's not going to be doing any wild nonsense. It's just going to be making some crappy bodies and then drawing us cards, which that second part is quite good. I won't throw that shade at that part. The plus on here is, like, you know, card selection and plus. If we could include fixing on the planes, like on in some way that isn't like something that lowers our consistency on our other colors, I'd do it. We don't even have, like, treasure tokens hanging out in this deck. How tragic. Whatever. Maybe somebody will hand us treasure tokens. Let's take a run. Yeah, they're, okay. Yeah, this looks great. Turn 1 Nightmare, turn 2 Colony, a 3rd land, gets a Sprite or Cauldron or leaving up Coven. I like the aggression on Colony, especially when we're on the play. Hopeless Nightmare is annoying. It immediately causes your opponent to have to choose to mulligan, you know, of sorts. I'm feeling
black, huh?
Yeah, blue-black. We picked black very early, and then we were trying to get into green, but both black and green super shifted out of, like...
Right, so you filled it up with blue that was open instead.
Yeah, and there was a lot of decent blue open. If they want to shock the colony... Oh, that exiles. Well, rip. That's a really good answer to it. This shock, by the way, is quite good. I'm unsure if that exiled on not bargain or not bargain, but yeah, getting rid of that means that my threat there is not really pushing anymore. Now we don't have much of an... Oh boy. Uh-oh. Modern card spotted. Yes, it is. That's why it exiled. That was my uncertainty when they cast it. They did not bargain the card. But yeah, the exile's unattached. Apologies, I didn't make that clear what I was talking about. But no, so Beanstalk here is a card that is seeing, like, constructed play in a lot of older formats, because it says whenever you cast a spell of 5 value or greater, draw. And you know what kind of spells cost 5 mana? Solidarity.
Force of will.
Force of
Solidarity.
will. Theory. Like...
Summoning trap.
Just, like, all sorts of nonsense. Grief costs 4, I believe. I don't believe Grief fits into it. Now let's put a ton of food into play. I actually don't hate these. No, these are actually fine now that I'm thinking about it.
You will need that other action eventually.
Yes.
You have plenty of 4s, like, to go.
My reasoning there on picking up this transmuter as well is that, like, our opponent is Gruul, and they're showing, hi, I'm a deck that wants to cast 5-drops. So, I'm just
You want to
assuming
be able to just say it's
it's a 1-1.
your 5-drop is a 1/1 now.
Yes, I want to have that as an option. Speaking of, yeah, I need to get rid of this because it has reach no matter what.
Yeah, Curse Roll only reduces its base power toughness, right? So it doesn't remove abilities.
Correct.
I feel like it's pretty obvious reach. That's not secret reach.
They're big.
First line of text on the card.
I don't know, I want to deal with that. Damn, okay, fine.
You psych them out.
The idea there was, like, make it a 1/1 post-combat and call it good. Alright. I can bounce a spell, but I don't want to bounce a 5-drop if possible. I want to hit something like a 4, because I don't want to keep giving them repeated cards.
Yeah, hopefully they don't make a land drop here. That's not a land drop. And they targeted the forest.
Because they only have one forest.
Because, right, yeah. Because you can only target forests. All right.
This might be the most effectiveness I can get out of this.
Because, yeah, that's keeping them off green this turn, and it's going to keep them off green next turn as well.
Yes. I think that is probably the most effectiveness I can push out of that line. Because right now with Beanstalk, I'm actually not wanting to like, counterbounce a 5, because I don't have the aggression in play to, like, make that function. I don't like that attack. I don't think that's worth it. Oh, wow. Interesting. The reason for that attack was to make this cost 3. I don't think spending that on the... They can just block. This is a 1/1 with reach, you know? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and play the Transmuter. Of note, one of my foods that is in play draws a card, so... Alright, they're still locked off of that Utopia Sprawl if they want to use it this turn. They're like, you know, if they want to do a 5, they can't, like, Utopia Sprawl. One of the things that makes Utopia Sprawl cool is that it immediately refunds itself, but, like, here they don't get the immediate refund to be able to cast a 5. They might use it to get their double green going. Okay, our opponent is doing some sort of, like... Okay, alright. Okay. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get that Utopia Sprawl out of their hand. It's very clear what they'll discard. Yep. Yeah, maybe the spell discount was something that scared them. So, if they play a 5-drop creature, they'll get to scry 1 and draw a card, though the draw happens on cast, and the scry happens on come in. We have, that's good. They'll draw a card off this because, you know, targeting, but the rolls don't work the way they want here.
Yeah, they wanted to replace the roll that you put on it, but that's not how it works. It's one roll per player per creature,
Which
not
is
one roll per creature.
is really awkward for the like little bits of time where it comes up.
Yeah, for sure. It is quite strange when you think about it.
Yeah.
And I guess that they don't want to they don't like symmetrical effects like that.
Yes.
Not non-symmetrical effects like that anymore. Things like, legendary rule being changed so many times.
Yep.
They're never going to print worlds again aside from being, reprinting the old ones. Things like that.
Right, I'm going to go for draw a card, poison this, and then push in. Okay. That's enough to put our opponent in the hole. They don't actually have, without a board presence, they're...
Without that many cards doing it, that was actually a pretty effective controlling of the situation that felt appropriately blue-black and limited.
Yeah, I felt happy about our weird bits of interaction that all played out. The Ice Rot Sentry was also kind of the nail here, in that, this would allow us to push through even if they were able to get things going. So. Alright. But yeah, so that card I just played there, the Necrotol, or I guess Necrotol is the best for it. That is how much life you gained. That was our first pick. This Poisoner. So, because it's on its own, it's like a 5-mana 3/2 lifelink that gives -3/-3. As long as you pay 1 earlier. We also have Ashiok. We were talking about if they're even how playable and limited this card is anyway.
The other Ashioks tend to be, but I don't know about this one specifically.
Yeah. The passive, for instance...
A lot of text on that card. I'm going to have to look this card up myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of text, but one of the things... Okay, do they have the shock again? I really hope they don't. That's good. But yeah, one of the things...
This Ashiok's kind of a lich. That's interesting.
Yeah, this Ashiok's very cool for, constructed applications. The life into cards payment is very neat. But, as far as limited goes, it's very hard to have a ton of interaction that works with, those tokens. It's really just, how well does, your adventures...
+1 of the top 2 cards of the library. Exile one of them, put the other into your hand. Sorry. I mean, once you get down to it, if nothing else, this Ashiok creates nightmares that grow bigger every turn.
Yes. And, they start at 1/1 and won't grow that turn.
Not that turn, but the next turn you just use the +1 and it won't cause them to grow. Okay,
so our colony is pushing through. We also have just a nice curve in this hand. Remand their 3, play a 4, and then we can Ashiok or removal spell on 5. Unless you adventure on the same turn, but I'm not on the turn you play a 5-drop, I'm not assuming there's going to be a lot of other plays happening, is the thought process there. Certainly if we had maybe Gumdrop Poisoner as a 1-drop adventure, then that might be more of a thing, but...
Ashiok costs 5. It's hard to adventure and play Ashiok in the same turn.
Alright. But this would be the card that would, our friend here that costs, Alright, hopefully... I want them to do something that I spell coming. 3/2 no text. Yeah, I'll... No thanks. Alright. Alright, strip a card, attack for another 3 with the colony. I like having Candy Grapple as a trick available. Are they discard? Okay, a 5-drop, sure. Tapped land. Ooh, okay. 3rd color, even. You probably are actually playing blue if you're playing this, because you want the activation. No! Okay, Mary Bard's post-combat. I thought that was going to be nothing, and I was... Thinking about the lines I like here. We can gumdrop poison. I kind of like gumdrop
Colony is
poison.
swinging in regardless, right? Because, I mean, it can't block, and the trades aren't bad.
I kind of like the idea of gumdrop poison or kill off, weirdly off the 2/2, so that they would have to trade with the 3/2 and make us 3 rats.
That'd be nice.
I think I'm okay with that. Right now, Ashiok is okay for going minus and, like, making some creatures, but I'd rather, like, do some board cleaning. Especially, like, opponent at 9, I'm not super interested in a 5-drop that isn't directly influencing the board at the moment. I will not block that. I can attack with lifelink. I have a Candy Grapple.
I mean, the thing about that is that if that's the thing that blocks your rats, then you make 4 rats, because it's for damage equal to it, right?
Yeah, I can also just, like, Candy Trail plus Candy Grapple kill.
Yeah.
And then they're at 1 life with huge problems.
That's usually a pretty good place for you to have your opponent at.
Yeah. We also get a scry, too, with this. I'll take
That's pretty good.
Take the flyer off that one, thanks. The Cauldron's fine and all that, but, so we want bargain, -5, target you. Sack the trail. And now they're going to be at 1 with many rats. Their line, in order to not be dead here, would have to be... So, okay, they don't have it. There's a specific black card that could -3/-3 the board. Which would have to be their way out of this. Even then, I kept the Fae, because the Fae has, like, whenever a Fae comes into play, opponent loses a life. So yeah, just take a quick look at the deck. This is our reasonably low to the ground. These are our only 5s, are into the Fae Court for drawing and Ashiok for also drawing. The rest of this is like, you know, evasive Fae. These Ice Wrought Sentries, which are one of the better payoffs for the tapping setup, in that they just get to attack as a 4/4 if they're active.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And, an adventure I can't play.
Seems nice.
Just, I
flat out can't play that.
I can't.
It's just a 4-mana 3/3.
It's a 4-mana 3/3 with no text. That's right.
Well, it has flying. That's not. No
yes. 4-mana 3/3 Fae flyer with no text. We're not.
You're playing a French vanilla creature, is what you're doing here.
Yeah. Yes, yes. As mentioned earlier, the day of Hill Giant hasn't existed for decades. So 4 mana 3/3 no text is absolutely not the body you play anymore. All right. Yeah, this is looking fine. We've got a good curve. A lot of low-end cards. We're on the draw, so third land should be around the corner. Evasion and cards that kind of keep us from dying early. Yeah. And, you know, Hopeless Nightmare, which is a card I always do like
You
throwing
like being
out.
able to set the opponent on a mulligan.
Basically.
Also -2 life.
Phantom Monster flat in limited is not really a dumpster level card. Yeah, let's just push Minstrosity out there. So, but, like, in limited, I would still play a 3/3 flyer, no text. I mean, as has been shown, I suppose. You know, I'm just going to attack. I thought about using Conceited Witch to give a roll on there, but I actually am more likely to want to leave up Coven here as a tempo line. Like if they play a 4
Against
here,
another blue-black player, yeah.
well, say they go for a 4-drop here. If I bounce it and then untap and play like Eret's Whisper or even, you know, the Coven, like all of a sudden our opponent's in a
Oh, nice.
okay.
An X cost spell you're countering too. They paid all in on it.
Okay. That exiles X creatures, but it lets you still cast them. And then whenever a card enters or was cast from exile, draw.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah, so like it's a pretty rad card.
Yeah, it's basically a perma bounce, but you can. It's kind of like a bounce spell that if you play the card again, they draw a card because you played that card.
Yeah.
But the warp from exile thing counts for longer than that.
So I'm just gonna go this and kind of push. I want the board presence is the idea here. Off color, huh? Interesting. All right. Oh, well, never mind. So they can pay 4 mana to exile one of our creatures, but the problem is that, like...
Smothering Tithe.
Who?
Smothering Tithe.
Cares?
And they're already at 5 and limited. It's not that hard to just ignore it. I guess you pay for it when you can and it doesn't disrupt your turn.
Yeah, I'm fine with it on this turn because...
Gonna play the Whisper?
Yeah, with this many cards in hand, I kind of want their hand shredded. Yeah. I mean, I had to think about what my turn was here. So their last card left is Exile X creatures. They lost 2 removal spells to get here. They do have the ability to exile both of my creatures,
But they're on 5.
but they're on. No, they got a treasure token.
No, 5 life.
Oh yeah, but they're on. Yeah, right. They're on 5, and like, I could just replay.
Yeah, this is something that they have to do here
Yep, they
to
have.
not
So
die.
and, whoops! All of a sudden,
They lose 2 more life.
yeah, they lose 2 more life.
I think that the possibility of this backfiring is extremely low.
Can I cast this as the adventure?
That's a good question.
It appears I can. Shit, I need to read how this card's worded. I might not have wanted to play the Baronati there. I just might have wanted to leave up the bounce. I need to.
What is the
May
name of that
play
card?
it as though, as long as it remained exiled. Yeah,
Then yeah, you'd be able to
this is
play
just
the
a card.
adventure because you can play either side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you may cast this card as so as long as it's castable. Yeah, okay. That's neat to learn. It also would not trigger Extraordinary Journey on the adventure side because Extraordinary Journey draws when creatures enter play.
Right, and there wouldn't be a.
It would be the spell
So
going.
I guess
it would go.
specifically, Extraordinary Journey is extremely bad against adventure creatures.
But no, it's good. It's good against them because like you do get to draw the card off of an adventure being cast because it says cast from exile. So like, but it's
Right.
bad against. Like it's bad if you hit one in play because then they get the adventure again. You know,
Yeah,
like the Fell Horseman would get to do its thing a second time. Okay,
that's what I mean. That the fact that it kind of lets
Oh.
you use the effect on it twice.
Yeah. Fun note. This is something I learned a few days back. So adventures here like are creatures in all zones, like except
Yes.
for like where they're on, like when they're on the stack. They're obviously it's an instant, not a creature, and this is consistent.
Yes.
Like if you're ever asking the question like, is this a what's this card? Is it a creature? Is it but as we've learned with this set, there's a couple funky edge cases because of how casting spells in the game of Magic works. One of them has made a constructed deck that aims to try to cast a creature, but then when you're allowed to cast the creature, go, no, thank you, I will take the instant and sorcery instead, and cast the adventure that costs way more than the creature.
Huh.
This is off of Bramble Familiar.
Okay, let me look this up to see if I can figure out the rules interaction that causes this to happen.
So Bramble Familiar is I'm going to stay here for a little while I'm talking about it instead of pulling up the card. Bramble Familiar is a 2-drop 2/2.
Oh, this is the raccoon. Yeah.
Yes, the raccoon elemental, and then it has green 7 as the adventure sorcery. It's sorcery. I assume it's a sorcery. It doesn't
It's
matter.
a sorcery. Yeah.
Mill 7 and put a creature or land or other. Put a
Creature, enchantment, or land. It's
Yeah.
basically anything
Put an
that's not
Atraxa
on
that you
it.
milled into.
Yes.
Yeah. But what happens if you have a way of like playing a card that would let you play a card without playing its mana cost, you can. The cost on that creature is 2, so you can like. You can like bring the light, I think is the example for this. You can bring the light for it and then just cast the other side. It's like it's
Light's text on the card is
I think
specifically search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery card with mana value less. Because you search your library for a creature spell
Yeah.
that is mana value less than or equal to the number of colors mana spent to cast this card. Exile the card, then shuffle. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost.
yeah,
Because you look for a creature that only costs 2 on Bring the Light because it has the 2 mana colors that would put into it. but you may cast that card without paying its mana
Yeah.
cost when it's in exile.
Yeah, Fake
so you can
Cascade
cast
from
the exile. the Adventure
Invasion of
Cycle.
Alara also does. Invasion of Alara, I think, is the constructed deck for this. I believe this still works on Bring to Light, but I'm not.
How it seems to me that this would work with Bring to Light as
Yeah,
well, because
but-
like there's nothing preventing that from happening.
This was an old constructed deck with Valky, the Tybalt, if you remember.
Right. Yes. Before they made the change that you can't do that.
Basically,
with,
we've encountered the Tybalt thing again.
Yes.
other,
However, I think that this is intended as opposed to the Tybalt thing, which I think was not intended.
Yeah. The other bit that's very funny with this is that, again, these are creatures everywhere except for on the stack. So if I play Past in Flames,
Mm-hmm.
this is a creature. Nothing happens. It doesn't gain any text. Nothing changes what this is.
Yeah.
However, if I play, God, what is the card? There's a card in Kaldheim? Or actually, it might not be Kaldheim. It might have been later. That just says, instants and sorceries in your grave have flashback. Might have been Dominaria. I don't remember the name, though. But it's just like, instant sorceries have flashback. That will allow you to cast the adventures. Yeah.
That's very strange.
Because it's like static text that the game. I saw the explanation.
Because it literally gives the instant, that is the instant effect on there. It literally gives it flashback.
Yeah.
Therefore, because it's in a zone that you could play a flashback card from, it is viable to play as an adventure.
Like it 100% makes sense for me. That Past in Flames doesn't work because it's not an instant or sorcery. It doesn't work, but it's very strange that the game allows you to like.
Past in Flames refers to instant and sorcery cards
yes.
in your graveyard.
Whereas the
specifically calling out the other one would have to be. Whereas the other one is just each instant and sorcery has flashback.
Yeah, I believe is Lear, Disciple of the Drowned. Yeah, I forget the name on it. Anyway, well, our side bit dealt with. This looks fine. Removal, creatures on curve. Candy Grapple's very good. You know what? That's...
Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. Why does that one give you that instead of Past in Flames, though? Is because it doesn't... Wait. Has flashback instead of gains flashback.
Yes,
that's the difference that causes it to happen.
All right, our opponent's
Very
here to
strange.
Opponent's here to do some ass kicking.
Yeah, statically giving the effects of text on. Basically, it with how Lear works is that it basically assumes that every text of the cards that had it, that could get it, had it already. Whereas the other one, it specifically gains it as part of an effect.
Right, trying to grant it, but
so it can't grant it to the creature cards in your graveyard. But since the adventure is a sorcery and or instant, but is on a creature, it's very strange. That is a very cool. I wonder where in the fucking comp rules that legally makes sense as the difference goes.
Assumedly
it has to somewhere.
Don't like scry to top. That's always scary. We'll press. The idea here is that Obira is the card I want to be casting this turn. And this lets me push for some damage while still doing that. Baronati is also probably a card that's going to do a lot of work here for keeping us standing. Okay. 5th land. They scribed 2 tops, so they liked both cards they saw. That's a little scary to me. Hopefully we don't see, like, dragon-level threats out of this. Probably just a kill spell. That's a kill spell, yeah, that works. Then they get to Vigil again, and they have 1 card left.
Renin 6 also lets you do it, apparently. With
because
retrace.
all retrace?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, the way that the reasoning why it works is specifically because those 2 are continuous effects, which is a different thing from gaining an ability until end of turn. It is simply...
The last thing I needed there was my opponent to draw another kill spell. I do believe we're dead. Yeah, again, the Past in Flame side of it is the part that makes the most sense, where it's like you can't grant it to a creature.
Grant it to those.
Yeah.
But if the text on the card basically assumes that it already had it, then that does work. It's very... It is definitely a maddening rules interaction. It probably gave judges headaches, like, across the country.
Want to draw a swamp? Well, I was very happy.
I drew that swamp, but I don't think it's good enough.
I don't think it's going to be good enough anymore. Yeah, so I went ahead and made this a 3/3 and mind rotted them to try to make like this 3/3 knock out their 2/2s, but the cooped up off the top all of a sudden just shifted this from like winnable game to extremely unwinnable game. I can even shut off my lifelink if they wanted to here. Yeah, not nearly enough. We are rounding the corner here, but ain't quick enough. So, all right. Boros deck is something that I've continued to see on the other side of the table as a very, like, aggressive
Boros
line.
is,
like,
of the 3 times now I have seen you go up against a Boros deck in this format, you have lost twice.
yeah,
You did beat them once.
Yes.
Beat it once. Joping.
okay, this is fine. I was a little worried about seeing 4 lands into the Fae, but these, like, kind of fill out the turn reasonably. Okay. And that gives us a 2 and a 3. Oh, alright, Crystal Grotto.
Okay, yeah, I now have a full understanding about how this interaction works.
That's good. Yeah, like I said, funky one.
Yeah, very funky.
Do they want a -3/-3 my Baronati? I'd be fine with Candy Grapple on that card. That doesn't really do too much. Alright, I might go Mocking Sprite here. Because if Mocking Sprite lives, I can into the Fey Court next turn, and into the Fey Court being a full refill. Seems pretty nice. Okay, what the hell are you? As Talion the Kindly Lord enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. Okay. Spellcast. Mana, power, toughness equal to it, lose 2 life, and you draw a card.
They chose 2. Like, almost certainly, right?
Yeah,
2 or
okay.
3.
Two is on the board. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2. That makes sense. 2 is going to be the most common one that pops up in Limited by far. Not only on mana value, but also on toughness and like power.
Yeah. That
Yeah, that's rough.
That's not great for what we're looking at here. All of our is like
Also, as a 4 mana 3/4 flyer,
I was gonna say
better
that,
than your 4 mana 3/3 flyer.
that's the main problem I'm having looking at Talion here is that like we don't have a way to deal with this card. I would have to like post combat gumdrop in the most like telegraphed attack I've ever done. I still am doing it, but like they're probably just alright, what on earth is this?
Okay. It's one of these that also lets you pay 1 when it go. Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay. That's like
There's no guarantee that happens because you can't block with it or anything.
yeah, but like you can eat it with
if you sack
bargain.
it with bargain, yeah.
So I can play both of these, but they draw. Hold on. Okay, it doesn't draw multiple.
Yeah, it doesn't draw multiple per line of text on it, so they would only draw 1 off of Tangled Colony, even though its mana value and its toughness are both 2.
I assume their reasoning on picking 2 was that all visible cards shared that. I guess 3 is also shared by all, but like
that's true. However, I just feel like I would always pick 2 or 3, and probably 2 in most instances, just because that's going to be the most common.
Yeah, 2 drops are like the most common.
2 drops and also 2 power or 2 toughness, because that's on tons of cards with 3 cost as well.
Oof. Yeah, not having the kill spell to deal with the Kindly Lord here immediately. Like, now our opponent's on a full grip, 5 or 6 mana. And we don't actually have no defensive tools right now. All these cards are, like, can't block, needs to attack. Also kind of can't block. That's not really that's not really anything. That's fine. I'm fine with Rat Colony. Because, like, I see. If only.
If only you were as powerful as they with playing cards off of a Crystal Grotto.
Sadly, we have no Crystal Grottos available to us. We are going to... try pushing this. Again, our opponent's on a full grip. The lifelink on the Poisoner is nice here. I was quite happy with Mocking Sprite into a draw 3, and whoo boy. We got a little outclassed on that one. Okay. No, it doesn't work. The line here is their hand is a bunch of kind of control mush, and we're able to get over the top with like Ice Rot Sentry and keep standing with the Poisoner. Okay. Okay. All right, all right. Don't have a spell stutter? Okay. Well, they can force me to discard. I'll discard Island. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think they attack.
Let me shape your fears into something beautiful. So much
Ashiok sounded a little
drama
cover
from
commander.
which to choose.
Alright, well...
Put one exile one.
Oh,
zone
cool.
together.
All right.
You
Uh-huh.
choose the
Neat.
exile
Okay,
one.
cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's exactly the way I want that card to read. Luckily, that literally was completely meaningless.
That would literally never happen in paper.
Yeah. Also, like, it was meaningless here. But,
Yeah.
like, we were... I can't cast... If I cast it, I go to 1. Yeah. All right. Much better. Yeah.
I guess better to learn that now when you were going to lose anyway.
Yeah, that's my thought process is, but, interesting choice to,
Yeah, it's weird that that's not choose the one to put into your hand and
that also didn't have a confirmation.
right. Yeah.
Like, I clicked on the card and did not click submit. I just... Alright. Yeah, Talion came down and we lost. We did not have an answer to this card.
Your removal spells. One target's only mana value 3 or less, and that's a 4-drop.
It
So
targets...
that's off.
Is that... I thought it was power.
It might be power. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Oh god, now I forget. I only use it to kill 2-drops, so like.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sadly, that kind of silly that they didn't.
I feel like most effects of that do it the other way. You choose which one to put into your hand.
Yeah, I
and
know,
then
like
exile the
with
other.
like gifts ungiven, it's like you choose the ones that go to grave. But like that one's notoriously like the one that's worded that way almost incorrectly because it caused weird decks to exist because yeah, okay, mana value 3 or less. Okay. So yeah, we couldn't even so like we couldn't get it with Feed the Cauldron. Candy Grapple would have needed to be kicked.
Yeah, bargain is necessary there.
And like Cursed Roll doesn't remove text.
Nope, it would be a 1/1, so you'd be able to like attack past it, but it still would have the effect on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we learned something usable in that one. Thanks,
Actually, it's
Ashok.
not coded wrong. It's that the effect is worded in a way that's not what you'd expect.
Yeah.
And there should be a confirmation on it.
It was weird.
Because you're choosing to exile something.
Well, it even says like submit, right? Okay, this is tragic of an opener. We can't keep
If
it.
you were,
but
this is fine.
yeah, this is
It's not great, but it's fine.
Put the Horseman back. Oh, we're clearly keeping.
Yeah, probably.
There's only one creature, and like I'm not.
Well, White Deck Lens is playing white.
Weird.
So there's that.
Ash
Boros.
attack. This is always Ash attack for 2. I know I've played against this deck like a million times. Okay.
That said 0/0 on the stack, and I was very concerned for a second of like, wait, what?
Regal Bun of Corn is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Non-land permanents you control, straight up, huh?
Yeah. Usually this text says creatures. Okay, they did have.
They chose which one that they were going to do, and they figured this actually was more damage.
Yeah. Every Boros deck has Ash on too. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules. Interesting.
That technically, that gives it +1/+1, I think. Or if that's nope, that's a characteristic defining
It's a characteristic,
ability,
it'll
which
be a
means
1/1.
that it will override the 1/1.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It'll override it. The reason I'm doing it this way is so that next turn I can play Mocking Sprite and this if need be. Because it overwrites what it says in the corner. There are 2 effects that say its power and toughness are equal to blank, and its power and toughness are equal to blank. The one that's like most recent wins. We just hold up Opera here.
I think according to the way that the effects work on layers, one is power and toughness is equal to 1/1, but the text of power and toughness are equal to the number of non-life forms you control. Those are 2 different layers, and I think the Regal Bunicorns is ladder on it, because one is modifying it versus the other one isn't. I think it straight up might not do anything.
No, it turns it. I've seen it in play. It makes it into a 1/1.
Okay.
Like this. What am I doing here? Am I playing a 3/4 no text? Alright. Cut down. Yep. Okay, we need a kill for the trainer.
Yeah, it's inverse from what I was thinking. It's that Bunicorn is layer 7A, whereas the other one is layer 7B, which affects it. Which affects it afterwards.
This thing first strikes. Yeah, that cut in really.
You're more or less right, Huzzah. I was just looking at the rules text for fucking layers right then and there. That the comp rules are basically a giant tome labeled Magic the Gathering rules. There's a lot of text in that set of rules. A little bit too late there, Ashiok.
Yeah.
And even then, it would be that you'd have to just keep on using the -2 running for chump blockers.
Well, it doesn't keep me alive here. I needed to eat the food at end step.
I know. I'm saying previous
Yes.
turn, it would have if you'd drawn them first.
The idea of keeping the food, by the way, was that it made the candy grapple usable.
Go and drink deep of sorrow.
You were gonna see it.
They sound so Cobra Commander. It's ridiculous.
It is kind of wild. Like, I don't think of the character as a very, like, the leader of a secret organization who's going to be doing some war crimes, but more like soft-spoken, but no. Come into my nightmare!
Maybe it's supposed to be a little Crypt Keeper as well.
Okay, I can see Crypt Keeper as somebody giving that as a direction, right? Like,
Actually, hold on a second. Ashiok Wicked Manipulator. Who is your voice actor? Because here's the thing. That might actually be
that'd be funny.
what is their name? John Kassir, I think. Because that's their voice actor, and they were the voice of the Crypt Keeper. They're also better known to me personally as the voice of Monsoon in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Can you find lists of voice actors? Just Steve Blum?
It's Steve Bloom. Interesting. Huh.
All right, 3 and 3 on that. The average line, wins equal to losses.
Well, it was Steve Bloom back in 2018 with a different one, and they do change the voice actors on the Planeswalker cards every now and again because it's just who is available, I think.
No, this is, by the way, this is the card that, like, could have let us cast our splash.
Oh, if another player plays this on you.
Give me treasure. I'm still really interested in what a like hatching plans in this format specifically strikes me as a really powerful card.
Yeah, when you can bargain it away.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a bite at it early, but it was before we had dedicated to blue, and we even our end deck only had a couple bargain cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, command. Commune with nature is just telling all the animals in the forest to go do a crime, I think. I don't know if she just has a bunch of guns or what, but that's basically what's going on here. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, well, I'm quite happy with how that deck worked out.
It's in fun to pilot is the first thing about it, though,
Yes.
right? Like, being able to get control to actually work in limited is tetchy of the archetypes to do. But it can work, and when it does, it's usually quite fun.
Yeah, and we did see us, like, you know, 2 of our losses being rolling over to Boros, and
Which is what the decks are traditionally weak to anyway, so that makes sense.
right, like, you, especially, like, that's one of the things I was most worried about in the build was, like, oh god, am I gonna have plays on 2 and 3, like, able to do something about aggression? And the answer was, like, in the one
Yes,
of those
but only
games,
if you do particularly well.
Yeah, one of them was yes, the other one was like, eh. So, anyway,
One of them was yes, but I still got rolled over anyway.
Yeah, one of them was yes, but we ran out of steam and got pushed in, and then we lost to. That game was much closer than it had any right to be, but that's more of like a garbage time thing. Like in that game against Italian, where like our opponent took the attack and went to 1. That's one of those, like, you know, football game where you're down by 21 and your opponent scores 2 touchdowns in the last like 8 minutes. They were never actually making the comeback, but like now the box score looks good. Like like damn, that was a close one. No, it really wasn't. Like they just could have blocked at any point. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Doc, for jumping on in.
Yeah, no worries. Just a nice quick one, huh?
Yeah, just a quick one here. I meant to do this on Tuesday, and then I fell into some Slay the Spire. I meant to do this on Thursday, but that was the day they dropped a demo for Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. Speaking of which, by the way, I streamed that demo for like 3 hours on Thursday, and I thought, oh, well, I'm basically at the end of it. I guess I'll kind of leave this off. No, there's another like 5 hours back past that point in the demo. The demo's like long, so it just kind of keeps going.
I guess that's just, if you're going to make a demo for a game that's already going to be very long, you may as well make the demo also rather long.
Yeah, like I expected it to end at like this specific, like, okay, you do like this Class F Coliseum thing, and then it's over, and it's like, all right, here's a new area, here's another main mechanic of the game, here's a bunch of, it's like, oh, okay, it just keeps going. So the Builders 2 demo was almost the entirety of 4 main areas. The Dragon Quest 11 demo was like 10 hours. Okay, yeah. So, consistent with their previous ones. Alright. Well, thank you all for joining. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, Battle Network 4. We got a good clip into that, and we'll be continuing that tomorrow. So, and then Monday is more Seiken Densetsu 3 over on Viper's stream. So... All right. Thank you all for joining. Have a good night, everybody.